week's Academy Award winner for Best Picture will go to...
At this moment, with still some more data to come in, I would say...
Ben Zauzmer has been predicting the Oscars for nearly a decade using math, and has been pretty accurate over the years.
All through the 8 years I've done this, 77% of the time, the nominee that has the highest percentage chance to win does in fact go on to win. A couple years ago, of the 21 categories I predicted, 20 of them were right. So it ranges, and we'll see what happens this year.
Ben just wrote a book that explains it all, called Oscarmetrics.
Trying to use that math to answer questions that all movie fans can enjoy. The math is simply taking all the available information and weighting it. It's giving a probability to each of the nominees, which is not the same thing as a guarantee. Every year, I gather a bunch of data on every nominee. That includes things like their Rotten Tomatoes scores, which other categories they're nominated in. It includes all the other award shows that lead up to the Oscars, things like the Golden Globes.
For this year's Best Actor and Actress categories, Ben's rolling out the red carpet for...
It's looking like the favorites are Joaquin Phoenix in Joker and Renee Zellweger in Judy.
You won't forget me, will you?
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen?
There are some upsets in Oscar history, like when Citizen Kane lost to How Green Was My Valley 80 years ago.
Doesn't make any sense, sir. Why?
Or when Saving Private Ryan lost to Shakespeare in Love.
I'll have poetry in my life, and adventure, and love.
The math actually says that those two were actually pretty close, and I talk about why in the book. You have Spotlight winning, and Green Book winning, and Moonlight winning. These were not necessarily the favorites going in, so just in recent years, we've seen some major upsets for Best Picture, and that's what keeps it so exciting. There was a race where Viola Davis was considered the favorite for Best Actress for The Help. And the math had Meryl Streep for The Iron Lady. She went on to win. Sometimes the math and public perception does disagree on who the favorite is. I do my best job using statistics to correctly identify those favorites, and then sometimes the favorites win and sometimes they don't.
So what about the biggest award of the night?
I would say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but 1917 is right there. That could change over the final rundown before the Oscars. As the final pieces of data come in, the numbers might go up or down for some of those other top contenders. It can absolutely change as the night goes on. You could see this in Best Film Editing this year. Best Director is always a really good predictor. So if we see a movie win Best Director right before that final category is announced, its odds of winning Best Picture absolutely go up.
You heard it here first. I'm Leigh Scheps for InsideEdition.com.